it's a profitable activity. There are apparently very few environmental restrictions, and the Athabasca waterway is pretty well polluted already. And we're not talking about the sky and the land. And the NAFTA agreement we have with the U.S. that you will find trumpeted in all the financial press says, "Lucky us, we've got a market." Oh, wow. Yeah, we have a market. We're the biggest supplier of oil for the United States. Now read the fine print, please, on NAFTA. It says 70% of what we produce every year has to go south. We can stay in the dark and freeze. That's all right. The Americans don't care. And what do we do to encourage this? Well, Ralph, where is Ralph anyway? Ralph says, well, we ordinarily get 20% royalties, but if you'll come and do this to us, we'll only charge you 1%. And then Ottawa says, whoever is in Ottawa, anybody make decisions in Ottawa? I don't know, maybe so. I think Albertans make decisions in Ottawa, but anyway, we'll help. We'll let you write off those little jitneys. What do they cost? Do you know what they cost? Art, you're from Alberta. What does one of those excavator trucker things, you know, with wheels are as high as this room? What do they cost? They cost $1 million or only half that?
$5.5 million.
Yes? Each
$5.5 million or one of the little.
Each one of them.
Each one, yeah.
Okay.
Each tire costs $60,000.
Not a problem, Magnus. You can write it all off in your first year.
Pardon me?
You can write it all off in the first year. Thank you, Ottawa. Thank you, Mr. Flaherty and Mr. Harper. And yeah, that's what's happening. Now, you're going to dissent? How are you going to dissent? Think about it. So upgrade information sources. And that means, I don't know how you're going to do that for the Winnipeg Free Press, but I'm going to leave you that problem. I don't know how to do it. I don't even have an idea. And I don't know how you're going to upgrade Global, CanWest. Do you know? Leslie, you've been in this business. What do you have to say about it? She pleads innocence. She used to be CBC back when we first knew each other. Anyway, that's what I think forums need to be doing. You need to be building forums where you can share this kind of controversial, conspiratorial, paranoid, wacky, yes, wacko, nutcase stuff. You have to volunteer to admit, yes, I am that. And here's my data. Where's yours? You got to do it that way. You got to do it that way. You've got to do it just the way that David Ray Griffin is doing it. He is a theologian from Claremont Theology College in California, and sponsoring, or CAP is actually, Canadian Action Party is sponsoring coming to Ottawa just ahead of our convention in August. And David is a known figure for a lot of reasons. Like, he's written 34 books that kind of, you know, people take notice if you've done that. He's a very well regarded theologian, religious philosopher, and so on. But of those 34 books, 6 in print now, and another one happening, are about 9/11. And when he's in Ottawa, he will be talking just like I am, I guess, dissenting. He will tell you that this was a crime, that it was covered up, and the consequences are as follows. That's pretty serious stuff, isn't it? He was in Montreal in June on the 17th, saying those kinds of things. and Michel Chuzadowski, who's an economics, well, I hesitate to even mention economics professors, but he is one, and he's at the University of Ottawa, and he runs the Center for Research of Globalization, and he's run it for some time. He has published several books, very meaningful books, about how globalization spreads poverty around the world. And if you just go for his website, and he was on the platform at Montreal, but I'm not sure his availability in Ottawa. But it's people like that I'm going to get to name later on, when I'm naming the banksters and their hirelings, okay, on one hand. On the other hand, there are people that you can trust if you want to support their dissenting views, because their dissenting views are based on hard data. Yes. What else I got to say here? Something. Why don't I give you some names? I'm naming the banksters. Now I call them banksters, but that doesn't mean they're affiliated with a bank. They may be just a lowly politician, like George Shultz, or the Bush guys, the Saudi. Let's not talk about. Let's talk about David Rockefeller. Let's talk about the Rockefeller family. Let's talk about the Rockefellers back in 1913, and along with the Rothschilds and the Warburgs, put together the Federal Reserve Central Bank, just like that. Which meant there was no central bank that was owned by the people. All the people do with their bank is create coins. All the rest of the money created by Fed, Federal Reserve. 12 banks, all in collusion. And the God himself has been temporarily replaced, with a new God. And that's Bernanke replaces Goldspan and Goldfinger, whatever you want to call them. And away we go. You have a problem, he'll solve it. Well, he'll use taxpayer money solving it, and so on, and he'll charge some interest. He won't charge as much interest to the banks that he's rescuing from their follies as he'll charge, the taxpayers. What will the Fed do relative to what I mentioned the Bank of Canada could do, because we own it? Will it do anything for the infrastructure? Will it repair interest-free the bridge out in Minneapolis that collapsed on the interstate? Will it build any hospitals? Will it build any schools? No. No, it will make an awful lot of money for all the banks, because they're going to fund the most profitable industry in the world. What is it?
Arms. Arms.
War. Exactly. It's totally profitable, because it isn't like you create a bridge across the river, or repair a pothole, or build a hospital. You destroy what you've created automatically, and you replace it, with more modern technology and so on. It's perfect for lending big money. Interest. Yes, big interest money. Okay, well, that's so much for David Rockefeller, but he says in his book, he's 92 years old. He's older than you are. He's been around longer. But I don't know what your views are on population control, but I know what David Rockefeller's views on population control are, because they're in his book. He wants to get rid of a lot of people on the planet. He's not alone. Robert McNamara, there's another name. Henry Kissinger, did you ever hear that name? Yeah. He's everywhere. He's always everywhere. He was in Bangladesh, He was in East Timor.